Welcome gardeners, it's Cynthia here at Cornell Farms, and this is the second lesson for our kitchen garden school in 2023. So in January we did a walkthrough of our garden here where I was talking about what it is that I'm planning to do in our garden as a way of demonstrating for you how to start planning your garden. And so in February's lesson, what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to put the planning that I did into action. I had on my to-do list for my garden journal that I wanted to prune our fruit and nut trees. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how I plan to prune this beautiful almond tree and show you how I'm thinking while I do it. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I look at this tree is I'm looking at how tall it is. I'm looking at the shape of it. I'm trying to find any branches that are crossing each other and any branches that are parallel. I'm looking at the angles of the branches on the tree, and as I'm doing that, I'm thinking, well, what am I going to cut? So first of all, let me just show you, I have these pruners. We sell these here, they're really wonderful. This one is just perfect for my size hand. Also, they keep a really nice edge. So when before we started our movie, I cleaned my pruners with 70% alcohol, and I will do that between each tree that we prune today, because trees on our pruners can spread disease if there happens to be some lurking on the tree somewhere. So the first thing I like to do after I get a look and kind of an idea of the scope of work that has to be done on a tree, or that I want to do on a tree, I start with the dead wood. So we want to get the dead wood out because the tree has no need to keep it on there. So you can see down here on this branch, I've got some buds on these here, but there's nothing on this stem, and it's also turned dark and it's very hard, and there's nothing growing on the end. So I know that this is not a healthy branch. So I'm going to look down here, and you can see there's a different color right here. This is called the collar of the branch, and when we prune, we do not want to cut into this collar. We want to cut out here like that, and we want to cut at an angle so that the rain runs off of the cut that we make. Okay, so one thing you can do to just test your branches to see if they're dead or not is use your clippers to scrape off some of the bark. And if you see brown inside the bark, that limb is dead. So I will go ahead and cut this one off right like this. When I look at what's happening here, for example, we can see there's this nice new branch. It's got all these buds on it. Lovely. But this is really crowded in here. Look at all, I mean, it's just, if this leafs out, this is going to be like solid. So then when the wind blows, it's going to like tend to want to blow that tree over if the whole tree is solid like that with leaf. So I'm going to try to make it so that there's more air coming through this tree when the wind blows. So I'm going to keep taking off the dead wood, and I'm going to start thinning. Think forward about the tree. You can see that if I allowed this branch to grow right here and go straight up, it's just going to keep going straight up for years. So I don't want my tree branches to go straight up, so I'm going to trim those off. And that is helping with the thinning. I don't ever want to take more than 1/3 of the tree off at the same time. So if you have a tree that needs a lot of pruning, you need to plan to prune that over the next couple of years so that you can correct what you want to correct over time instead of doing too much to the tree all at once. I think I'm going to leave this tree as it is for now, and we will move on to pruning a Honeycrisp apple tree. I'm going to just do a simple prune on this tree. See, it is not overcrowded, and it just needs some branches removed that are below the crotch area here. That's how I like my trees to look. So I'm going to cut off these branches here on the bottom, below this area. And over here, this branch is going to be coming this direction. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I want to avoid these colliding in the future? I don't really like the looks of this. So I'm just going to trim this one off and let this one live. And then trim off the dead wood, trim to a bud that's heading that direction. So when the bud is pointing out, that's where I trim it just above that bud, so that, and I'm still using my angles so that the water will run right off. Now, see, this and this are going to collide. So I think I'm just going to take this one and let this one grow out that way. So that's your little Honeycrisp apple tree. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over into our garden, and we're going to do a little bit of trimming on the Fuyu persimmon so I can show you how to do it, and a little bit of pruning on the pineapple guava. So with that, let's go. Here we are by our Fuyu persimmon tree in our garden. We love this tree. We noticed a couple of years ago that there was some branching that was hanging down. I mean, it was really hanging down. And so we tried this method of reshaping a tree. You can tie a tree limb up, and it should start growing that way after a while. So I was thinking today that I will just like trim this off and see how instead of this branch going down, it's still going up a little bit, which is nice. We get a lot of fruit off this tree, so I don't have to worry about that a whole lot. Don't have to worry about not having enough fruit. But I do have to worry about crossing branches. So here, we see that these are pointing down, and that does not work well for me because I'm always under here and I don't want them to be poking me. So I'm doing this. We don't want branches that go straight up, and we want to prune this so that we have a lot of air coming through, because this gets to be very thick and we get very strong winds right here where this tree is planted. So we need to do some thinning every year. This limb is very hard to navigate when I'm working in the garden. So I'm going to take this one off like that. It's not going to hurt the tree one bit. And then this one also is a little low. So I'm cutting at an angle. I'm making sure I don't cut the part of the tree where the limb, this part right here. We don't want to cut into the tree branch. What I'm going to do, in addition to what I've already shown you, is I'm going to use this pruner to manage the height of the tree. So you can see that there are branches that are going straight up, just absolutely straight up. So what that is this is going to move the fruit up into the way high. We have no way to even secure a ladder here to go up there and prune. So we prune this from the ground and we trim to manage the height and to keep the fruit closer to the ground where we can pick it. So right here I'm just above a bud that's pointed outwards, and I'm going to trim it off right there. And then over in this area, you can see that I've got crossing branches here. We don't want that. So this is a crossing branch, and this is a crossing branch. So now each of these branches up here has somewhere that can go without hitting its neighbor. I'm going to take a step back now and take a look at what it looks like. Okay, so here we are standing by our pineapple guava tree. It puts on absolutely delicious fruit, and it is really a beautiful bush. Now this year we just had a huge windstorm, so a lot of the leaves have come off, but this is an evergreen shrub, so it's got many trunks over there, which makes it a little bit different than trimming an apple tree. Last year we had a limb break off of this tree that was huge, and now this year we have some shaping that we need to do, and also some thinning that we need to do. So you can see from the other side here a little bit later that this whole part of the tree is reaching toward the sun, and I want it to grow more upward and be more open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in sections, and I'm going to reach in here right now and begin to trim these branches away from the rock wall, because this year this could easily grow way out into our pathway here. We've talked a lot about crossing branches, and you can see right here that this branch is just really making a dent in this branch here. So I'm going to take this off right here. I'm going to cut these things off here and get them out of my way. These are suckers basically, and we don't need those. I want to cut this right in this area at an angle. Okay. All right, so we're coming to the end of our video lesson on how to prune an almond tree, an apple tree, a Fuyu persimmon tree, and a pineapple guava tree. So I'm breathing heavy. It's work, but it's fun work, and I just want to encourage you to give it a try at your place. Take your time, look hard, and have fun. Thanks for watching.